For the next 23 years, DuQuoin provided an ideal country setting for the main jewel in the Triple Crown of trotting, the Hambletonian. Now, today on ABC's Wide World of Sport, the Hambletonian, live from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
100 years ago, when the International Gymnastics Federation was founded, it would have been very difficult for those people who were instrumental in its beginning to imagine Olympic champions performing in celebration of the Federation's 100th anniversary. Back in 1881, the modern Olympic movement had not yet begun. We're in Montreux, Switzerland, along with Bart Connor, world champion on the parallel bars and America's top international gymnastics star, along with a fresh, new American face, Lucy Collins, who's here making her international gymnastics debut. Also in attendance, 72 Olympic champion Ludmila Terestcheva. Yes, today, 100 years of gymnastics tradition is celebrated with an exhibition of champions.
You might not think of this sport in terms of tension or pressure, but it's all there. This is it. There's no tomorrow. Where total control, or the absence of it, makes all the difference.
I got it.
Today, it's the National Weightlifting Championships from San Francisco, California. Winners and losers.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Lincoln Mercury, who invites you to see and drive the totally new Lynx.
That the Yankee
Interrupt our regular program schedule to bring you a special report from ABC News in New York. Here's correspondent James Wooten.
Good evening. ABC News has learned that President Reagan has decided to build the neutron bomb, a low-blast, high-radiation atomic weapon. That information comes from ABC's Pentagon correspondent John McWethy, who has now more from Washington.
James, the White House confirms that the president has made this decision. To understand it, you must go back to President Carter several years ago, who deferred making the neutron bomb because there was so much consternation from our European allies. President Carter at that time decided to make the essential parts of the neutron bomb, but not the warhead, the nuclear warhead itself. Military sources say that enough of these essential parts of the bomb have now been made that it forced President Reagan in Europe. So it essentially will sit in a warehouse once it's been assembled here in the United States.
John, exactly what does a neutron bomb do?
Well, a neutron bomb is a nuclear weapon like any other nuclear weapon, but it is a finely tuned weapon that provides higher radiation and lower blast. So what the military can do with this weapon is to drop it in an area and it will destroy less buildings.
There, right after this message. Good Lord.
There's only one San Francisco. Whether it's the Golden Gate Bridge, the waterfront with its hundreds of boats, new and occasionally old, the hills, the skyscrapers, or a street fair, we all know where we are. But this could be ancient Greece. It's not, of course. It's the Palace of Fine Arts, a reminder of the Pan-Pacific Exposition of 1915. This theater is still used for many things. Last night, an opera.
And inside this magnificent building is the National Weightlifting Championship. Hi, I'm Bob Beatty. You know, there was a U.S. team named in weightlifting for the Olympics last year, but as we all know, they didn't get to compete. Because of that, I guess, and the fact that it's an off-Olympic year, it could be called a down year or maybe a transitional year. Certainly, there have been a lot of competitors who have retired, some because they wanted to, some because of injury. As an example, because of injury, Tom Stock, who was the super heavyweight champion last year, blew his knee out in China and is not competing here today. Also, Mark Cameron, the heavyweight defending champion, who has really been a perennial great on the weightlifting scene here in the United States, apparently has also retired. Because of that, of course, as we've said, a lot of youngsters can come up. And to better understand the sport of weightlifting here in the United States and what it might mean as we start to get ready for really 1984 in Los Angeles, let's bring in our expert commentator, Bruce Wilhelm. Now, Bruce was the U.S. national champion in the super heavyweight class and still holds the record in the snatch lift, the national U.S. record. Bruce, what can we look forward to?
I think the main thing we're going to see here is tremendous battles and a great depth in the competition. Instead of maybe just one guy clearly cut winning a victory, we'll see 2, 3, or 4 men fighting for a title. This is very important to the growth of weightlifting because in order for weightlifting to grow, you have to have larger numbers of men competing at a higher level. This is one of the reasons that the Russians are so good. And I believe that the program has been enhanced tremendously by the fact that we have money coming in from the United States Olympic Committee Development Fund. We now have a national training headquarters in Colorado Springs. And then we also have corporate contributions, which in the past we never had. This is very important to have money in the program.
The 90-kilogram or 198-pound class is in progress, and we're looking at 21-year-old Richard Shanko from East Brunswick, New Jersey, about to make his third attempt in the snatch lift, 319.5 pounds.
The snatch is the first of the 2 lifts we'll be seeing. In its performance, the barbell is lifted from the forward to overhead in one continuous, fast, explosive motion without unlocking the elbows. 3 judges will determine whether the lift is good or bad using a system of lights, red for bad and white for good. 2 white lights are necessary for the lift to be good.
And Shanko has the weight overhead. Looks like he's having a little trouble getting it under control, Bruce.
Well, it's up to the head referee to determine whether the lift's under control. We just heard him give the down signal. Now we'll see if the referees decided it was a good lift or not.
Richard Shanko. And as we can see in the left-hand part of our screen, it's 3 white lights, and it's a good lift, and he takes the lead for the moment. Richard Shanko, and coming up now, John Julius, second attempt, 325 pounds.
John's tremendously touted by his coach, John Schubert, from Cleveland, Ohio, to be an excellent prospect for the 1984 Olympic team. He has high hopes for this man. He says his strength is unbelievable in training lifts.
Okay, in the snatch, and later the clean and jerk, 3 attempts in each lift.
Oh, we got a problem here. Looks like a little injury. Can't tell if it's to his elbow or his shoulder. He's holding his elbow. It's difficult to determine. He should have let loose of the bar before that, though. That's one of the problems in weightlifting.
Lots of injuries out there in weightlifting.
There are, and it's an unfortunate thing. He should have let the bar go.
Okay, let's take a look at that lift again in slow motion, Bruce.
Let's watch his left side. It seems to be where the injury is located at. See, the bar slips back a little. He's lost the balance. He's holding on to it. He should let go of the bar. Right there, he hurt his shoulder, it looks like. You can see him grab the deltoid right on top of his shoulder.
Well, Bruce, is that the kind of an injury that could have a long-term effect?
It is.
It definitely tear. Does it look like it?
Too bad. This is really a tough break for John Julius.
If you're looking...
Why not?
Bruce Wilhelm at the U.S. Weightlifting Championships in San Francisco. We're looking at Lou Mercado, 23-year-old from Port Ready, New Jersey, out for his third attempt. And he'll try to lift 325 pounds in the snatch.
If he makes this lift, it'll be a new personal record for him.
All right, he's already lifted 319.5 pounds. If he makes this lift, he'll take the lead in the snatch competition. And Lou Mercado cannot raise the weight, and so he'll have to settle for 319.5 pounds.
This puts Lou in bad position, really, because winners Sutterberg and Curry are yet to come, and Curry has an excellent clean and jerk.
And speaking of Jim Curry, here he is now, the defending champion in the 198-pound class. We talked to him earlier.
Well, right now the job I have is a night job, and I'm making $6 an hour, which is nothing. And I get home late, I sleep late, and it's a good time for training because I can go to the gym first, and I'm not tired from work. But it gets to be that way. The money's not that good, and I don't get paid while I'm gone. And every time I have a trip, or even now this week for the Nationals, I took off a couple extra days, and I'll be behind on my bills again. You know, I just about get caught up in it, there it goes again, that kind of deal.
Well, he's now living in Berkeley, California. He's from New York City, 28 years old, weighed in at 196.5 pounds, 5 foot 6 inches tall.
A real fire plug, but he's an excellent technician, moves very fast under the bar. Good position there on the bar. Look at that, over his head.
Well, third attempt of the snatch, 330.5 pounds. This will, for the moment, put him in the lead. Earlier, Bruce, who holds the U.S. record for the snatch in the super heavyweight class, demonstrated first how to do it and then how not to do it.
Bend over, grabbing the bar, securing the grip. What we do is we try to pull with our legs, arms, hips, keeping the arms straight. Drop our hips, begin to pull, bring it close to the body, explode under, hit the bottom position, hold it, recover, bring the feet together, wait for the referee's signal. Down. Put the weight down. And of course, what we're looking for are the white lights. But if we have a red light, it could be a cause. One of the causes might be as I demonstrate. It's commonly called press out. Something like that, or it could be at the top of the lift, like that, and dropping the bar like that. These are causes for disqualification in the two-hand snatch.
In other words, it's control from start to finish. And coming up now, Kurt Sutterberg from Masery, Ohio, 28 years old, third attempt, 347 pounds.
He really needs to get this lift, too, Bob, because his clean and jerk is not really up to par with the other men in this class. And the other thing to keep in mind is the fact that last year he lifted in the 100-kilo class, which is approximately 22 pounds above this. He's lost a tremendous amount of weight. So one of the remarkable things is the fact that he's lifting right up there with these men and surpassing some of them in the snatch lift.
Is it hard to come down in weight?
It's not so hard to come down in weight, but the difficult thing is to maintain strength while you come down in weight. That lift wasn't even good, wasn't close.
Well, he didn't have much of an attempt right there. Kurt Sutterberg looked like he might have injured his knee a little bit.
Probably just a little trauma or a little muscle strain. We see his coach there, Louis DeMarco, former lifter himself, walking off with him. I think he's more disappointed than hurt, because he will be back to clean and jerk.
He's also a lot taller than some of the other ones.
Oh, he's about 6 foot, maybe 6 foot half inch, which I say is a disadvantage to him.
Okay, coming up right now, Kevin Winter, 27-year-old, from Syracuse, now living out here in San Francisco and a teammate of Jim Curry.
Actually, he's made tremendous progress since he moved from the East Coast, as most lifters do. He's got better men to train with, a better place to train at. He tries to train in San Jose and San Francisco at the Sports Palace sometimes. He trains under the Olympic coach, Jim Schmitz.
Okay, this will be his second attempt. 352.5 pounds, and if he makes this, he will win the snatch lift.
Plus, it'll be a new personal record for him, and he needs every bit he can get in this because he does have a hip injury, which is going to hurt his clean and jerking ability somewhat.
Why would that be so?
Well, because he won't be able to rack in a heavy weight and stand up with it and squat. The hips are very important when you come out of the squat clean.
Okay, here we have, though, snatch lift, one continuous motion overhead.
Very nice lift, very nice lift.
No problem at all there for Kevin Winter. 352.5 pounds in his second attempt. He has one more to go. He's already clinched the lift. Now, Bruce, will he take his third attempt?
Well, most definitely he'll take his third attempt. He needs every ounce he can get. Look at it in slow motion. You see he moves under the bar really well. He uses the frog-style stance to his advantage. Steps forward a little bit, meaning the bar is out in front of him, not totally under control, but he does recover nicely. Gets the down signal.
Okay, and now coming out for his third attempt, trying to increase the poundage. 364 pounds. He's already lifted, remember, 352.5 pounds.
This would be closing in on the American record. Also, the American record in this class is held by Lee James at 369.25 pounds.
You know, it's funny, he told me earlier that in 1968 he was in a drugstore, picked up a magazine with a weightlifter on the cover, got inspired, and went out and started to lift. And this is his 5th Nationals.
Well, he's come a long ways. But he really needs this lift to enhance his lead. Without this lead, he's going to have problems in the clean and jerk. His very rare that a lifter can come through with a big snatch and not have a good clean and jerk to follow and to still win.
Look out, look out!
Just wasn't there today.
Well, this should make the clean and jerk even more interesting now, as he was not able to increase his margin. So the results of the snatch are Kevin Winter first, Kurt Sederberg second, and Jim Curry third.
When I found out how fast
They finished the snatch lifting. They're in the clean and jerk. Remember, it's the best lift of each. The total of best that'll determine the winner. We're looking at Jim Butch Curry. First attempt, 408 pounds.
The big difference between the snatch and the clean and jerk is that the clean and jerk is a two-part movement, bringing the weight to the shoulders and ramming it over the head in two parts. Also, a narrower hand grip is used at the same time.
Well, he certainly didn't have much trouble there. Butch Curry now moves in second place in the overall competition behind Kevin Winter.
He's going to need everything he can get, though, because he's got a little bit behind in the snatch.
And speaking of Kevin Winter, here he comes now, third attempt. He's already in first place, but he has some more competition coming up. He's going to try to lift 413 pounds.
This will be a personal record for him if he does it, Bob. And I'd be really surprised if he does because he has a little hip injury.
Okay, he's already lifted 402 pounds.
One of the reasons he's going to have to make this weight, though, is because the other competitors still have more attempts remaining. Once he takes this attempt, he has no more shots at the title. He's going to have to sit back and watch and wait the other lifters try to pass him. An unenviable position to be in. Oh, a good clean. It's a good clean. You may have it here. Needs a big drive to have the weight over his head. It's not there today. Wasn't even close. He's in a bad position now. He has to outweight the other lifters.
Okay, that was the third attempt, and as you said, he just has to wait for everybody else to finish the competition now. See if he's going to be able to win this. A little advice from the fans. And here comes Jim Curry, second attempt. He's going to go up now to 424 pounds. If he makes this, he will tie with Kevin Winter as far as the overall total. However, he would win the competition or move into first place for the moment because he weighs less body weight.
He's also made this lift in the past, but he touched his elbow to his knee, so it was turned down. One of the infractions that the referees look for.
Okay, Jim Curry, graduate student in physical education from the University of California, nearby Berkeley. If he makes this, it'll be his personal best.
Actually, he's moved up and down this year in being in shape. He's had some good meets, some bad meets, so he should make this because he's quite strong for this meet. I'm really surprised he missed the jerk, though.
What happened there, Bruce?
Well, he just didn't drive hard enough off the chest. You know, he has it racked on his shoulders, took a dip, and then he drove, but it just wasn't quite there, and he didn't split deep under. There's his coach, Jim Schmitz, giving him a little word of advice.
Well, that's a big letdown for Jim Curry. He remains in second place. We'll be back after this.
Sunday night at 6.
In his third attempt, Butch Curry failed at 424 pounds. So now he remains in second place behind Kevin Winter. Coming up now, Richard Shanko, 21-year-old, third attempt in the clean and jerk, 430 pounds. If he makes this, it'll put him in second place. If he makes it, though, he will be the leader in the clean and jerk lift.
He's a real bright prospect for the future, too. Approximately 5'10", maybe a little bit more. I suspect that he'll be moving up a bodyweight class next year.
Richard Shanko.
Nice clean. He had no trouble with a clean. Stands up quite easily. Waiting for the bar to settle down. It's a nice lift.
And young Richard Shanko lifts 430 pounds, moves into first place in the clean and jerk, second overall, and displaces Jim Curry. Kevin Winter still our leader. Be congratulated there by Kevin Winter. A little happiness there, Bruce.
No question about it.
Let's take a look at that lift again in slow motion.
Really pulls it off the floor. Bangs a little bit hard on the thigh. Swings the bar in, but he recovers very nicely. Comes up to the sticking point. He's waiting for the bar to stop bouncing. Once it does, he'll drive, trying to use the momentum of the bar to whip the weight up. Nice drive. Splits under it deep. The weight's behind his ears. Recovers forward. Somewhat unusual. A lot of lifters will recover backwards. He waits for the referee's down signal, has the weight under control.
Lou Mercado coming up. Let's talk to him.
The diet of a weightlifter consists of mostly protein, all right? Carbohydrates have to be watched. Calorie intake has to be watched. But the main diet is protein, meat, fish, eggs.
Is it difficult to get down to the weight you want?
If your diet is planned out right, no. You can adjust your body weight according to that. The more weight you want to lose, the more protein intake you have. The more energy you want to expend, the more carbohydrate intake you have.
You mentioned the importance of speed in your training. Why is speed important to a weightlifter?
Speed is probably the most important asset you can have. In speed, the snatch takes approximately a second to a second and a half. And the clean and jerk, the clean takes approximately a second also. So the quicker you can get under the bar, pull the bar and get under it, the more weight you're going to lift.
Well, here he is, and he is really on the spot.
2 years now, you vote. 2 years you vote him. 2 years, you're 2 years overdue.
He missed his first 2 attempts at 419 pounds. Oh, you go. And now he's going to add 11 pounds on his 3rd and final attempt and try to make 430 pounds. If he misses this, he's out of the competition completely.
The 2-year reference made by Coach DeMarco is the fact that in the past 2 years, Lou has cleaned the weight that would win him the contest, but he's been unable to jerk the weight. Both years, he cleaned enough weight easily, but could not jerk it. If he doesn't do it here, he's totally out of the contest. He won't even place.
There's a rule in weightlifting that if 2 lifters lift the same weight, the lighter man wins. If Mercado makes this lift, he will have lifted the same weight as Schenkel. But he knows he will be the clean and jerk winner since he weighs less.
Also, in the same vein, if he lifts this, he will have lifted the same total weight as Schenkel, and being lighter, he would get 2nd place to Schenkel's 3rd.
It's a pretty big lift for him any way you look at it.
Oh, nice pull. This is the easiest part of the lift for him. Now comes the tough part, the jerk overhead. Good drive.
Well, he's got it overhead. He looks a little bit shaky, but he gets the down signal from the referee. And it looks as though Mercado has won the clean and jerk and moved to the 2nd overall. Yes, he has. 2 out of 3 lights. But, Bruce, what's that red light for?
I believe the referee, Don Wilson, gave him a red light for press out.
Well, press out or not, that's why they have 3 judges. Apparently, Bruce, the other 2 just didn't happen to agree with it. So it's a good lift. Well, a very jubilant Lou Mercado, who has won the clean and jerk. Schenkel 2nd and Curry 3rd. And the overall, it's Kevin Winter, Mercado 2nd, and Schenkel 3rd. Before we leave San Francisco, let's look at the winners of the 3 heaviest weight classes in the National Weightlifting Championships. In the 220.5-pound class, the winner was Ken Clark, 25-year-old from Pacifica, California. He totaled 771.5 pounds.
Works as a drapery installer in San Francisco. Best lifts are 336 in the snatch, 446 in the clean and jerk. Put that one on ice really easily.
In the 242-pound class, the winner was Guy Carlton, 26-year-old from Decatur, Illinois. He's now living in Colorado Springs and training at the Olympic Training Center there. And the super heavyweight winner, Jerry Hannon, 28-year-old from Levittown, New York. He weighed in at 322 pounds. He lifted in the snatch 385 3/4 pounds for a new meet record. He totaled 865 pounds. For Bruce Wilhelm, this is Bob Beatty from San Francisco and the National Weightlifting Championships.
Well, that's it for the U.S. Weightlifting Championships. We'd like to report that in spite of his shoulder injury, John Julius is now back to active competition, as is Jim Curry, now recovered from pulled tendons in his knee. To recap the competition, here are some additional champions in various weight classes at the U.S. Championships. In the 148-pound class, Cal Shaky set a new American record in the snatch of 293 pounds, while in the 165-pound division, Fred Lowe went 402 1/4 pounds in the clean and jerk for another U.S. record. Once again, we want to remind you, coming up later today, live on Wide World of Sports, the re-race, the final race in the Hambletonian Stakes for trotters. 3 horses will be involved. They are Olaf, Shy Away St. Pat, and Super Juan. We'll be going to the Meadowlands for that.